from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
First at 11, it may be a calm, warm night across central Indiana.
But more rain and storms are in the forecast. Let's get right to WRTV. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory with what to expect in the morning. Kevin.
And it gets more active here in the next 12 hours. As you look at radar right now, all is calm. We had those downpours early in the day. Temperatures there in the 60s. Let me go find one shower that's hiding from you just to the northwest of Sullivan. That will drift toward Terre Haute. This is not hiding. Pretty obvious. Rain and thunderstorms sit to our west. Stronger storms are around St. Louis. All indications are this loses steam as it comes to the east. But I do think overnight, western Indiana, the better chance to hear some rumbles of thunder and rain move in. Not expecting severe storms overnight. Temperatures in the 60s first thing in the morning. There is a marginal or low risk for severe storms over the eastern half of the state tomorrow. Damaging wind would be the main threat from the stronger storms. I'll have the timing on those storms and what's ahead for the weekend coming up.
See you soon, Kevin. Thank you. Will other colleges and universities in Indiana follow Notre Dame's lead? Well, today the university announced it will require all students returning to campus for the fall 2021 semester to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. That includes all undergraduate, graduate, and professional students. Notre Dame says documented medical or religious exemptions will be allowed. Some students agree with this decision.
In order to get back to where we were and kind of out of this dark place that a lot of students are in, it's important for us to, be able to come back next year and have a lot of these restrictions lifted because we're not worried about COVID spreading as much.
A vaccine clinic will be held tomorrow at Notre Dame's Compton Family Ice Arena.
The vaccine clinic just for Butler students continues tomorrow and Friday. Butler is one of many central Indiana universities that is encouraging students to get vaccinated and making it convenient by offering campus clinics. Butler is partnering with the state to vaccinate as many students as possible before the end of the semester. And they are getting the shot from their peers. Butler pharmacy students are administering the vaccine and they are well qualified. A first-year class in the pharmacy program specializes in giving vaccines. The students are certified vaccinators who can practice anywhere in the state. They volunteered without hesitation to help at this week's clinic at Hinkle Fieldhouse.
As a healthcare provider, as a Butler alum, and now 18 years on the faculty and staff at Butler University, this was no surprise to me. This is what Bulldogs do. They work in their communities, and when they have the chance to bring it home and take care of their own, they didn't even think twice, and we couldn't be happier.
Looking back at this in the future, and hopefully this will be something we can look back on sooner rather than later, it's just something we're going to be really proud of.
Butler will be giving students the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine through Friday, then the second dose the first week of May, right before commencement ceremonies. Any remaining supply will be available to faculty and staff.
Tonight, local health leaders hosted an event to educate the public about vaccines. The free virtual discussion addressed myths and concerns. Panelists also answered questions. Here's what Marion County Public Health Director Dr. Virginia Kane said when asked about possible long-term effects of the vaccine.
We've been using the technology, this messenger RNA technology platform, for over about 10 years. We've been doing it primarily in animal models, but we even looked at it when we had Zika virus, Ebola virus, and so it's not as new as you thought it was.
Well, panelists were also asked, why do some people have a reaction to the vaccine and some do not?
I don't think we really know. We know there's that very rare chance of having something that's called anaphylaxis. It's kind of like what happens with a bad bee sting reaction. But other than that, there tends to be more reactivity to it if you're younger, if you have had COVID before, and less as you get older. But it's pretty unpredictable. I've had friends my age that had different symptoms than I had, same with my family members. And none of those reactions are a reason not to continue the vaccination and get the second dose. It doesn't predict you're going to have something worse.
Health officials say the exception to that is that if a person has a severe anaphylactic reaction to the first dose, the CDC recommends not getting the second dose.
Another common question is, how long will the vaccine protect against COVID? According to new research, Moderna and Pfizer vaccines give protection for at least 6 months. Research will be updated as the months go on. Clinically, people vaccinated as part of the Moderna and Pfizer trials continue to do well and avoid infection. Dr. Cole Beeler with IU Health says it appears immunity provided through the vaccine lasts much longer than the immunity of those who caught COVID-19 naturally.
But I think this is extremely promising for all those who have been vaccinated, knowing that they're going to go at least half a year, probably longer, with protection from the virus.
Pfizer has also shown to be extremely protective in places where there is high variant spread, specifically in South Africa. COVID-19 vaccines in Indiana are now open to all Hoosiers as young as 16. You must register for an appointment. You can do that through the state by calling 211 or online at ourshot.in.gov or directly through a retail pharmacy.
Production of the COVID vaccine in central Indiana is leading to hundreds of new jobs. Catalent in Bloomington is hiring Hoosiers. The company makes both the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. A variety of positions are open, from the production line to the lab. For more information, go to hiringhoosiers.com.
The Rebound Indiana is highlighting the support and resources available to businesses that are struggling to keep going more than a year into the pandemic. Many venues and theaters across the country are still closed, but as of tomorrow, those businesses will be able to apply for much-needed grants from a $16 billion fund. Getting this relief could be what keeps beloved local venues alive.
You are an indoor facility like this. We're the first facility of the type to shut down. So, we were the first to close and the last to reopen.
The historic Aarp Theater in Franklin is a cherished venue for many Hoosiers. Rob Schultz is the executive director, and he has been doing what he can to generate some income for his staff, including drive-through popcorn sales and small private movie showings. But that still has not been enough. Rob says their revenue was down 75% from the year prior to the pandemic.
It's tough to furlough your staff, to lay off staff, to cut wages back, and everybody, believe me, everybody in all of our 7-8 employees took cuts and still worked, twice as many hours with less pay to keep this going.
Funds from the Paycheck Protection Program helped keep employees on staff, but the new Shuttered Venue Operators Grant offers more help to keep venues like the Aarp Theater open until they can welcome full crowds again.
Payroll and wages which is critical, but then you have a venue that is used to bringing in performances and all these kinds of things, and you don't have any. You have nobody in those seats.
Yeah, and you can't do anything about it. There's nothing that you can do. The SBA's SVOG will provide venues with grants equal to 45% of their gross earned revenue, up to $10 million.
I imagine that for most venues, that's going to be the most significant grant they will have ever received. Not just during the pandemic, probably ever.
Joe Hamgary is the CFO of Hi-Fi and MLKB in downtown Indy. He is also a founder of the Indiana Independent Venue Alliance, a statewide organization created during the pandemic to provide resources to Indiana venues.
We're not going to survive. We're not going to be around without help. For a lot of venues, it'll mean that they'll be able to stay in business and they'll be able to stick around.
The grants funds can be used for things like payroll, rent and mortgage, utility bills, some forms of debt, taxes, admin costs, insurance, and advertising. The financial assistance could be what it takes to make sure some of our favorite stages make it to the other side of the pandemic.
We're not only going to come out of this, but we're going to come out of it stronger. We're going to be more resilient. We're going to build ourselves to be bulletproof so that if this should occur again, we're going to have more ways to combat it.
Can't wait to see them back open. Joe from the Indiana Independent Venue Alliance says many of its members experienced losses of 70 to 90% in 2020. Both Rob and Joe tell me they are prepared to submit applications for the grant immediately. The Shuttered Venue Operators Grant opens to applications at noon tomorrow, Thursday, through the Small Business Administration. Eligible applicants include live venue operators or promoters, theatrical producers, performing arts organizations, and movie theater operators. You can learn Learn more right now at WRTV.com.
Covering the State House tonight, a bill that could have major impact on the future of Indigo projects appears to be on track to die in committee. We've been following Senate Bill 141 for months. It would change the way Indigo's funding is counted, which could mean no federal dollars for the purple and blue rapid transit lines. The bill is held up in the House Roads and Transportation Committee, which does not have another meeting scheduled this week. Bills must pass out of committee no later than tomorrow to remain alive. Indigo released a statement to WRTV saying in part, quote, "We are grateful that Chairman Pressel and the House Committee on Roads and Transportation has decided to not have another hearing on Senate Bill 141. This bill has been a distraction as we have been focused on maintaining transit service and keeping our riders and employees safe throughout the pandemic, as well as advancing our major projects." And the Indiana Senate is blocking a controversial bill that would repeal the state's permit for requirement for carrying a handgun in public. The proposal easily passed in the House, but Senate leaders have decided against taking up the bill in the final weeks of this year's session. The Indiana State Police Superintendent, the State Police Chiefs Association, and the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police spoke out against the proposal.
A sad end to the search for a teenager who disappeared in the White River. Conservation officers recovered the body of Kevin Flores Rodriguez this afternoon. The 17-year-old went missing near the 16th Street Dam last Tuesday after his canoe capsized. First responders initially said the boy was 16. The fire department says a 45-year-old man was also in the canoe. He made it to shore and was taken to the hospital with hypothermia.
This case is a fundamental challenge to the very model of the NCAA as we've known it for the last 100 years.
Coming up, the Supreme Court case that could shape the future of college athletics.
An Indianapolis group is working to make men better. I'm Cameron Riddle. Coming up, I'll show you how they're transforming lives and wardrobes.
Call RoofMax today.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
New at 11, an Indianapolis group is working to make men look better in hopes it will allow them to do better in life. WRTV's Cameron Riddle shows us how lives are being transformed one suit at a time.
Jeff Allen and Jesse Dickerson are two cousins who were thinking of ways to give back to their community.
We as men, we want to feel good and look good as well. I think that putting on a suit just allows people to respect you a little bit more. You feel more confident again, you feel more empowered.
One thing they know for certain is how to dress. Another is knowing that looking good can lead to new opportunities like landing a new job. That's why Allen says they launched the Making Men Better program and Suit Closet, which provides new suits to any man who needs one between the ages of 16 and 45. They believe having a suit can be life-changing.
With Making Men Better, we understand in our community there's a lot of disparities. There's a lot of socioeconomic factors that we deal with on a daily basis.
The suit comes with designer names, and in a store, there would be a price tag to prove it. But instead of cash, the suits here are given out for free. The only requirement is taking the Making Men Better class on leadership.
To be able to talk about different issues like leadership, integrity, manhood, purpose, mental health, healthy relationship, financial freedom, and just becoming debt-free.
After launching last month, 20 men have already completed the program and have received their new tailored suit. Dickerson says it only took seconds to see a boost in their pride.
When they came out in it, they was dressed, they was feeling amazing. You saw a smile on their face. You could see the confidence that they were going to have.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
And Making Men Better has plenty of suits for men who need one. You can find out where and how to get one by registering online. We have a link to it on our website at WRTV.com.
Kevin, it was warm out today, but that rain was coming down. I got stuck in it. Definitely came to work a little bit like a wet rat earlier.
Yeah, buckets of rain, and I think we may do the same thing tomorrow, Amanda. So you may have to just wait it out in the car. They won't last that long, and then make a dash 61, that's a temperature in Indy right now. By the way, we did hit 79 today. We didn't quite make it to 80 degrees. The clouds and thunderstorms cut off that afternoon heating. The thunderstorms and rain sit to our west. There's one shower south of Terre Haute. Again, as this moves to the east, I think western third of the state may see a rumble of thunder tonight. We'll have showers around in the morning. Then thunderstorms will develop a little later in the day. High likelihood for rain tomorrow and Saturday. Rain chances diminish for the second half of the weekend. There's the probability of rain tomorrow. You see very high through noon and slowly drops in the afternoon as the thunderstorms push to the east. 7 a.m. scattered showers around. As we go late morning, you begin to see in western Indiana some thunderstorms develop. Those will push to the north and east, a broken line of thunderstorms. Damaging wind may accompany some of the strongest storms, and heavy downpours of rain as well. That will pinwheel into Ohio as we get to tomorrow evening. Then we'll have a little break. A closer look at the marginal or low risk for severe storms includes Kokomo down to Tipton to Indy to Seymour East. We'll have more on the timing of that in 1 second. I think it would more likely be in that 1 to about 4 o'clock time frame. Storm Shield app, as we get into spring, threat for storms, it's free. It's a weather radio for your phone, and will give warnings right to your phone wherever you're at. And it enables you to control the radar as well. A lot of advantages to that. 70 in Muncie tomorrow. These temperatures cooler than today by about 10 degrees. Temperatures normally it's 61 for this time of year. As we go to Friday, because we'll dry out a bit, temperatures will warm up. There's your rainfall. Again, the fact that it is moving fairly quickly, we won't see rain sit in any one spot that long. 1/4 inch rainfall amounts with isolated higher amounts possible. Friday, we dry out. We'll take the break from the rain because, as I mentioned, it does come back on the Saturday. Saturday's high 65 with some rain and thunderstorms. Sunday, temperature comes down. The overall rain chance comes down as well. 62 for the high, and then a couple more dry days Monday and Tuesday. We'll need to mow the grass after getting this rain with relatively mild temperatures. Amanda?
All right, looking forward to it, Kevin. Well, the new Humane Society for Hamilton County officially opens tomorrow, and tonight we are getting an inside look at the facility. They're so cute. Officials cut the ribbon on the building today. The new $12 million facility is on Hague Road near 106th Street in Fishers. It includes an I'm looking at these kittens. It includes an education center, medical center, and operating room staffed with a full-time veterinarian. Donations played a big role in making this project happen. The Humane Society says this new headquarters will help the organization better serve the community.
It comes back to our mission, which is saving lives, completing families, and educating communities. You know, that's everything that we'll be able to do in this building, 10 times better than we were ever able to do.
Doors will open for adoptions starting at noon tomorrow. Next month, the public will be invited to a bigger grand opening celebration. Mark, just looking at the video, I want to go adopt all those puppies.
Do what moves you. Do what moves you. Hey, Indy Pride says it hopes to have an in-person Pride parade in the fall, but as of now, that and other Pride Fest events will not happen as usual. The annual June Festival will be held virtually for the second straight year. In a statement, organizers say they do not believe it's reasonable to host an in-person festival during Pride Month at this time. The group says it will continue to monitor public safety guidelines with the hope of hosting in-person events sometime in the fall. The virtual festival in June will include Zoom meetups, live-streamed concerts, and an online vendor village.
There is a new effort to help prevent people from falling victim to a growing scam. Gift card payment fraud has been on the rise since 2018. The average loss is more than $800. Scammers are using the phone to reach victims, getting them flustered about a prize, fee, bill, or situation where money is needed. The victim is asked for a payment using an electronic voucher and told to buy a gift card.
It's a little bit hard to understand because you can't imagine why somebody would believe that buying a gift card could solve a problem. But the scammer gets you into a heightened emotional state of fear or even love or excitement.
AARP plans to focus on gift card scam prevention over the next 3 years. This section of the organization's website is now dedicated to the topic, aarp.org/gift cards. There's also a free fraud watch hotline you can call with questions. That number is 877-908-3360. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Rivers.com.
Welcome back. The Pacers are celebrating a much-needed win tonight. They held on to beat the Timberwolves 141-137 at Bankers Life Fieldhouse without leading scorers Malcolm Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis. 7 Pacers scored in double figures. Next up, a 2-game road trip starting Friday in Orlando against the Magic.
March Madness is over, but a different kind of court battle continues. The Supreme Court is weighing a case over athlete benefits. Austin Kim with our partners at Newsy shows what's at stake.
A win on the hardwood is sweet, but victory in the Supreme Court could be transformative. A case called NCAA v. Alston looks at whether the NCAA can limit educational benefits for athletes.
Oh, this case is a fundamental challenge to the very model of the NCAA as we've known it for the last 100 years.
Former West Virginia running back Sean Alston and former University of California Senator Justine Hartman are leading the class action suit. This isn't about college athletes getting salaries. They're arguing the NCAA cannot limit education-related benefits. The two want the Supreme Court to uphold a lower court ruling so schools could pay for computers or science equipment or allow athletes to get paid internships. But the NCAA worries universities could abuse the new rules, allowing wealthy donors to fuel bidding wars for players.
These would be, provision of in-kind benefits over and above full cost of attendance scholarships and actual necessary and reasonable educational expenses. And the NCAA's argument is that, then this is really becoming a type of pay for play.
During oral arguments, justices voiced their concern over the NCAA's amateurism argument.
It does seem that schools are conspiring with competitors to pay no salaries to the workers who are making the schools billions of dollars on the theory that consumers want the schools to pay their workers nothing.
But they worry about the high court's involvement and future litigation that could extend those benefits and blur the lines between professional and amateur sports.
I worry a lot about judges getting into the business of deciding how amateur sports should be run. And I can think of ways around that.
This Supreme Court case is separate from a discussion in Congress about whether college athletes can make money off their name, image, and likeness. But together, they are part of a broader discussion about college athletes' rights.
There are some pretty significant changes that are coming to college sports, and we will probably start to see them with the next academic year in the fall.
What will be the institution that's driving the change? The NCAA has had multiple opportunities to do so and has chosen, effectively not to do so. There will be change. It's just a question of who is going to be the driving force.
For Newsy, I'm Austin Kim.
Save you 15% or more.
Best chance of overnight rain will be in western Indiana. The rain spreads to the east for all of us during the day tomorrow. Can't rule out a strong storm with damaging wind being the main threat early afternoon, especially eastern half of the state. But temperatures in the upper 60s. Amanda?
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you for making WRTV your choice for news. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. Try to stay dry tomorrow. Good night.